Welcome into Seeing Scarlet. Red Raiders, we have another interview, someone that has been all over social media everywhere and for good reason. And we're going to talk about it so much more. And we have her with us, and we have Riley Love from Texas Tech Softball. Riley, thank you for joining me and Shelby here on Seeing Scarlet. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. Welcome in.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, y'all, by the time we post this interview, you're going to be like, there's more Riley content out. This is a recently awarded, right? Recognized sixth in the country, third baseman. So huge recognition just to start off the bat with that information. But Riley is a senior from Keller, Texas, infield third baseman. You just heard it. She's really good at it. This is an all Big 12 freshman team member, and you've been consistent in your seasons, Riley, and you've been such a key clutch player in some really big moments, and especially when we think about last season. So y'all, when you think about Riley, we talked a little bit about her past, but just early on in the season, there is so much to highlight, so much to hype you up, and talk about your softball career a little bit more, Riley. So again, welcome in, and we'll go ahead and kick things off with a real simple question. Not a big deal. But tell us who you are. Tell us who you are as a softball player with Texas Tech, and then maybe off the field, what's Riley like?
I am that's a good question.
It stumps everybody every time we ask it. It stumps.
I know
every
I'm a
person.
human. I go to Texas Tech.
So I'm 22 years old,
Nice.
And I'm a huge family person. I love my family from,
cool.
like you said, Keller, Texas. Hey, Mom and Dad, and Ramsey.
Hi, Mom and Dad, Ramsey.
I love playing softball, and I love my team. And outside of softball, I'm a kinesiology major, and I'm double minoring in psychology and health professions. And after this year, I'll be headed to Parker University for chiropractic school.
Let's go!
Yeah.
Is that something
got it planned out?
Is that something you had known you wanted to do for a while, or when did you decide chiropractic? Was that recent?
So I was always on the physical therapy route.
Okay.
And I did a couple of stand-ins in high school, and I was like, this is not what I want to do. This is not fun anymore. But I stayed on the physical therapy route, and then I want to say last year, one of our old pitchers, Kendall Fritz, is at Parker University right now, and I was like, that's cool. I'll do that.
Nice.
So
easy peasy.
Inspired.
Follow up. Yeah. It's so funny. I mean, our connection obviously with y'all is you play softball at Texas Tech, but you have this whole other life that we, sometimes don't get to know about. So it's really cool to hear Riley's doing great in sports and in academics. That's awesome.
Set up for that. You talked about how much you love softball. Tell people why this was the game that you just fell in love with as a kid and you still do. What about it do you love?
Just the challenge of it. Softball is such a challenging sport because it's all failure or mostly failure, right? So if you're at the end of the season, you're batting 350, you're an All-American, right? So that means 7 times out of 10 you're failing. And I think just growing up, it teaches you so many life lessons outside of softball that are so applicable into anything I want to do after. So I think just the challenge of it, and making my dad proud and stuff like that. Me and him, he always told me a quote from the movie League of Their Own. It was, if it weren't hard, everyone would do it. The hard is what makes it great. And so I think just finding joy in hard things.
Amen.
Is why I like softball, I guess.
Yeah. Let's go. I think some of that I've heard from Shelby almost verbatim, and how the mental game of it. And I'm so proud of you too, Riley, of seeing bigger picture of how this can be applied outside of softball. Yeah. And I think that's
definitely taken a while.
Yeah, right. I mean, even when you're saying that now, I'm like, yeah, you do fail, a lot of the time, and how do you get through it is the key. So, that's a really cool perspective that you have on it, and you get to play for Texas Tech. How did you get here? Can you tell us a little bit more about your experience of choosing Texas Tech?
Sure. So I was recruited here 2 coaching staffs ago. So I've been around here for a little bit, and
you've been through some things.
Yeah, you've seen some stuff.
So I think the first thing, just talking about tech like as a whole, I remember coming here and just the family aspect of everything, especially with the girls and like the recruiting class that I came in with, just had such a huge impact on why I wanted to come here. Um, Everything about Lubbock is just so like small community, all for tech, and so I think that's just what drew me here.
Yeah. Love that. So now we're fast forwarding to now. You're playing for Coach Snyder. What is that? What has that been like? We had a listener question come in, but this is something we probably ask you anyway. But they just wanted to know. GMW.music on Instagram says, "Why do you like playing for Craig Snyder so much and being a Texas Tech athlete?" Which you kind of answered, but
so I think there's two parts that come into play when talking about Coach Snyder and his staff, and the one is the so much knowledge about softball and the incredible strategy and coaching strategies that they use on us. And Coach Snyder's knowledge about hitting and just like the mental game is something that I've never experienced before. That's something I've always struggled with, is the mental side of the game. And he's helped me through that tremendously. And the other part is the family aspect that he brings. So he always says how much of a family we are. And that's something, it's not a sham, you know. He tells you that, and then you walk in our facility and you feel that. And that's something he always says. I want you to feel family. We're not just going to preach it. And we always joke about how much of a dad he is. He's like our dad away from our parents, and you know, cracking the dad jokes and he's just standing there. We're like, you're such a dad.
Like, dad. just dad vibes.
Yeah. Dad vibes.
And just like both of those things combining is like what makes him such a great person, such a great coach, and so easy to play for. So
love that.
Excuse me. So you talked about, and you have been talking about the mental game, the mental component of softball. And that's something that I've learned just as recently, like I've always been a fan of softball, but Shelby helps me see the mental game of it, which is so fascinating. And so being able to hear from you how, going underneath Coach Snyder's wing with learning from that, can you tell us like how that journey has been for you of willing to understand and like learn more about the mental game? Like why did that matter to you so much that you seem to be really in tune with yourself in that?
It took me a really long time to figure out. And that was something that growing up, my parents were just like, it's all mental. Because
it's like, what does
when I was,
how do I fix it?
That's great. But how do I fix that? I know how to go out and swing, but how do I fix that?
Tell me. Yeah.
And so, that's something I definitely, probably part of my game that I struggle with the most is just, how powerful your brain is, and you can tell yourself you can and can't do things. And I think it's just so important for, especially younger athletes, to really be in touch with their mental side of the game before anything else. But I think this past year, what was changed I had a couple teammates ask me like, oh, what have you done differently? Like, I've done nothing differently this year. I think I just stopped putting so much pressure on myself. And I think that's where all of the mental side of softball comes from, is just putting so much pressure on yourself to do things. And, it's my last go around. So I'm just kind of like, you know what, whatever happens. And I think it's done me well so far.
Good for you, Riley. That's awesome.
Love that.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of it is connecting with just my life experiences lately. And I'm like, I gotta call Riley more. Like, give me more of this.
Tell me to calm down.
This perspective.
Just enjoy.
Yeah. So let's kick it into a gear a little bit with the team. You talk about how important they've been in your experience so far, and a lot of different iterations of that. We also hear, either when I'm watching a broadcast or we like can pick it up from past interviews, but there's a lot of nicknames on the team. And I'm sure that's a softball thing, a culture thing, Texas Tech. Do you have a nickname? And then how do nicknames get honored on the squad? Like, that seems like a really big deal.
Yeah. I do and I don't. I know some of the girls on the team just call me Love.
Yeah.
And then from
nice.
select ball and my dad, call me Rilo.
Okay.
But I don't
nice.
I don't tell people I go by a certain. I'm just call me Rilo.
You
That's
can't
cool.
Okay,
pick your
well,
own nickname. You just gotta let it happen.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
But Pecan on the team that's Pecan's nickname. I don't think me and my mom were talking about the other day. I don't think I've ever said her actual name. Like it just doesn't register in my brain. Like that's Pecan.
That's so weird. I think we said
that?
it like one time, and then everyone's like, "You can just call her Pecan." I'm like, "All right, good."
Yeah.
They were. Yeah, I think it was Sage. Sage was like,
"Just
call her Pecan." Y'all are just stop. And we're like, "Oh, okay, thanks." But yeah, that's very funny. I know some friends of mine that I'm like, when they're called by their legal name, I'm like, ugh, who's Dave? Who's David? That's not my friend. I don't know.
Oh my god,
that's awesome.
So, looking at your career, you know, I think even in high school, you played like probably almost every game, and then when you come to Texas Tech, you're starting from the jump, playing all these games. Then you have an injury, and then last year was a bit different. Like, what have you learned about yourself since going through that last year? We're not getting to start as many games, so you missed like the beginning of the season, and then kind of picked it up at the end. Mm-hmm. How does that change your perspective as a player going now with your last year? Does that help you be like, just go out here and have fun? Because I didn't get to do that as much last year.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think that it was obviously being out for 26 games was not very fun, but it allowed me to play a different role that I haven't played in the past. And I think it made me not only grow as a person, but grow as a softball player and like how important that role was for myself and for the girls on the team. You know, every role is important in softball. And so, I mean, that's me literally not doing anything and just me and my best friend JC, who's the ultimate sign picker. Me and her were doing that all 26 games, and it was so fun finding a different role and being able to cheer on everyone. So yeah,
I mean, that's a huge responsibility and something we benefited from. So you talk about a huge role. I mean, that helped with so much of I think articulating what y'all are about and y'all's identity and how y'all support each other. So it's really cool to see that in a variety of ways, and especially from you coming off an injury like that. And now we have what we talked about a little bit earlier of this exciting news of in Softball America named you the 6th best third baseman in the country. I mean y'all, if you are unaware,
good, I guess.
Yeah, if you're unaware of collegiate softball, it is electric. It is competitive. This is such a huge acknowledgement, and coming in pretty early into your senior year where you're having such an electric season already. What was the initial reaction when you received this news? Because it happened today, right? Or in the time that we're recording this. What was your reaction? Who told you? Who called you? That's another.
Well, I was sitting at this. I found out. I didn't find out when everyone else found out. Okay. I was in class, and we had like a group presentation. So like wasn't on my phone or anything all day or all morning. And so I was sitting at weights, and Demi Elder walks in, and she was like, "Riley, like congrats, that's so cool." And I was like, "Oh yeah, thanks." What are you talking about? Like what? Yeah. And she was like, "Oh, like go look on Twitter." And then I was just like, the first thing I did was screenshot it and send it to my parents because I'm like that's like so cool. Like that's like my first thought was like that's awesome. But yeah, we still got a lot more work to do and this weekend coming up, so it's cool. But
it's just nice to be acknowledged for what you've earned. So yeah, I love that. So speaking of third base, I've always said you kind of got to be a bit of a psychopath to want to play third base because you're so close to the action.
For real.
What do you love about that? Like why you're like, yeah, no, that's me. I want to do that.
So I was a shortstop all my life.
Okay.
I played short. I played third a little bit in high school, or all 4 years in high school. And then I came in and I played 3 years at short here.
Yeah.
And then one day they're like, all right, you're going to go to third base. And I was like, cool, awesome. But I mean, it's like, I like really fallen in love with the position because I do have like the range of a shortstop, but at third, and it's just like all reaction, which I love instead of, like I said, the mental game of sitting like thinking about the ground ball being hit to me.
No and time so to
I think. Just, it's just reaction.
Wow.
But yeah.
Have you always been that way? Like with shortstop? Because I mean, I'm talking as a adult intramural player, and I will never play third base. I don't care. You can't pay me. I won't do that. I won't do shortstop. Put me anywhere else. So have you always been like that, a level of fearless in some way, like even when you were first, in high school or when you started playing that position?
Yeah, I think so.
Nice, right?
I think also
that's so cool. What else to tell you?
My dad always told me, my parents always told me, they're like, if coach puts you somewhere, you better act like you act like you know what you're doing, there. And you're like, cool, thanks,
cool,
yep.
Cool.
And so they're like, all right, you're gonna, because playing third in high school and playing third against
different,
top teams in the nation are two completely different animals. So they told me that, and I was like, all right, well, I better go take some ground balls at third.
Better go figure this out.
Yeah.
What kind of drills do you do to get through, not just at third, but even coming up playing different positions and stuff? As a softball player, the reason the game to me is so exciting is you have to be an athlete, especially in the infield, because of the reaction time. What kind of drills do you do to like perfect that reaction time, or is it just innate for you?
I think when I was younger and in select ball, I worked a lot on what word am I trying to use?
Hand-eye coordination?
Glove work.
Oh,
glove work. Sorry. I worked a lot on my glove work, and I think that's just kind of something that I've just always carried with me. But in like now, if we would go to practice, we have to be on the field, and we're thinking of 3 things at once. More than that, we're thinking of talking to our pitcher. We're thinking of what happens when the ball gets hit to us and where the runners are, and then a million other things that come with that. Like, oh my gosh, that guy's wearing a green hat in the stands, and like it's just like just a bunch of crazy stuff, right? So we work on that aspect a lot in practice. So working on situational stuff, and I think the reaction just kind of comes with it. But
being prepared,
that's what we do a lot in practice.
Yeah, I think what you said about the knowing exactly what you have to do before the play, helps you make the reaction. So I like that.
It's so impressive. Big fan. So again, we've been talking about it. We're early on in the season, and so we get to watch you, Riley, grow in whatever way throughout this season. What are some areas that you're hoping to really improve on, or to grow, excel, fine tune? Are there certain things that you're looking forward to not perfecting, but to growing in?
I think I want to leave here and obviously leave a legacy here, but I want to be a person that someone remembers as like a great teammate. Nice. And I think just learning with obviously we get a new team every year, a new set of girls, so I think just learning how everyone needs that and just better working on that in the season, because it's not about me, it's about everyone else around me. So just being a great teammate to all.
I love that.
I mean, yeah, every answer that you've had, I'm like, she ain't going to say anything about her. She's going to talk about the team.
Yeah.
Sure enough. Sure enough. So when y'all are at the games watching Riley hype up her team or be that support, that's when we can look and watch you grow. But that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
You talked about wanting to leave a legacy, and we've kind of talked on this show that this team's going to go as far as like there's 10 of you seniors, right? Something like that this year. Like, what is that bond like for y'all that y'all are coming into the season? You're like, hey, we're going to make this the best year yet. This is what we want to, you leave a legacy, all these things. But what's kind of that bond between you guys specifically, since this is your last year?
I think we have such a strong bond as a senior class. Like, we're all super close on and off the field. And I think there's just like obviously everyone wants to make postseason, but I think the seniors are just like, we're so fired up for it. And I think we just like, that's something that obviously in our 4 years we haven't done. So I think that would just be like the coolest thing ever to make postseason and, kind of take this team along with us to do that. So, but we're super close, and I love the seniors and all that kind of stuff. We've been through a lot together, and so I think it's just like another level of we're in this together kind of thing. So yeah,
cool. Yeah. Nothing like challenge to bring a group of people together.
Right. Yeah.
For y'all to get to showcase it this year, that'll be really hype. I'm excited just thinking about it. So what we've been covering so far, we've been able to start covering y'all's season right when it started, given how long we've been doing this show, and to see the success that y'all are having so far, 17-4 overall. We're getting very close to conference play, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But to see some of the competition and some of the challenges that y'all have had and faced already this season, how do you feel right now? If we were to do a check-in with Riley, how are you feeling so far about the season? Knowing what the success that has already happened.
I think like I didn't, because I'm like living this right now, so I don't actually get to sit back and be like, we've actually been doing pretty good here.
She's like, I'm on to the next. See ya.
Coach had us read a book over the summer, and
Nice.
it takes what it takes, and it's all, the whole book is about a neutral mindset and self-talk and all that kinds of stuff. And so every week, I think 2 groups present a chapter on the book. So that's something that we're continuously doing throughout the season. And I think bringing that into how we've been playing and how I look at the season now, it's like we've just been so like neutral about it. We've gone out there and we've played, and then we get to look back and be like, oh my gosh, we're doing so well. So I think
I like that.
We're at a spot right now that we haven't been at before in a long time. But you wouldn't, you'd walk in the locker room and be the same old team. But so I think it's just cool to look at it that way.
Totally.
Of, we're not super like arrogant about it, and we're not like, so it's hard to explain, but it's cool just to sit back and
But you can see that in the way y'all play, and that y'all never seem too concerned, not in a bad way, but like in a good way. You're like, well, we got more at bats. It's cool. We'll get it done. We'll figure it out.
There was a game, I think it was the UNT game or the Minnesota game. I'm not sure, but we were down by 6.
Yeah, like 6-0.
We were down by 6 going into the 6th. And me and Pecan were sitting there. We're just like watching, and she was like, are you worried? And I was like, no. And she's like, no, I'm not either.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like I
love that.
Like this confidence of, we're good. Like,
we'll figure
something
it out.
that I haven't felt before. It's really cool.
Yeah, no, I love watching it. It's every game, because even as a fan, I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, I know we're not that far in the season, but I'm like, I'm honestly not worried either. They'll figure this out. It's fine. Like,
right.
And if you don't figure it out today, I'm like, they'll figure it out tomorrow. It's no good. It's no big deal. Like,
right.
there's games in the series. So, but speaking of that, you've done this non-con. We are coming up to Big 12 play. We're heading to Utah. Have you ever been there? Are you excited? Minus the weather. Are you excited for this trip?
Yeah, I'm fired up about it. I think I might have been to Salt Lake City when I was like an infant, but I'm super excited. Out of all the places to go, I think I'm most excited about this one. Besides Florida State, I was pretty fired up about Florida State. But I know we have a couple of team activities planned that we don't know what they are yet, so I'm excited.
That's nice. Cool. Yeah, every team that's gone there is just everyone we talk to is like, that's like the choice. Like, I can't wait to go to BYU. Can't wait to go to BYU. So apparently it's so beautiful. Cool.
Yeah,
and they've all loved it. So we're hyped for you guys.
I'm excited now.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to as far as the competition with BYU heading there? Because it's a 3-game series. That you'll have with them.
I think we're not really sure. I haven't watched a lot of BYU games, but obviously it's gonna be good competition like any other team is. So I think we're just ready to get out there and start playing conference, and we're almost done with double headers. We have one more against New Mexico.
Y'all play so many. I was trying to explain that to someone the other day. They're like, why does softball have 21 games played and baseball only has like 11, and they're both starting conference? I was like, well, that's softball. So that's non-con softball. They really crammed them in there to try to figure things out early, but they're almost past that. They'll catch up together by the end. So
when I played select ball, we would play 6 or 7 games in a day.
Oh my god! How is there enough time? Like,
so
eat lunch?
Lots of paydays.
Tournament play, it's like hour and a half games. So the game limit's like an hour and a half, but still you're playing
an hour and a half.
6 of them. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I think I did that one summer when I was a youth, and I was like, Mom, I'm not having fun. She's like, I'm not either.
I'm not either.
Great. Let's get out of here.
Imagine the parents. They're just sitting up there all day too.
I know. Yeah. I think just talking about parents before we get into the listener questions, you had said so many things about them so far, and so I wanted to make sure to ask you. But what is that like to have? It sounds like that's really close family connection. What does that feel like in terms of their support as you have this journey through your softball career at Tech?
I mean, there's not enough words to
right.
explain their support. You know, they've paid for my college 5 times before I even got to school.
Yeah.
Just from paying for select ball stuff. So I think it's just like, you know, I wouldn't be here without them. And after every game, no matter if I go 0 for 4, if I go 4 for 4 with 4 home runs, I walk out of the facility, give both my parents a hug, and my dad says, "I love watching you play," and that's it. Just the same, like, you know.
So true.
And I know that they couldn't be more proud of me. So, you know, yeah.
I love that. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Yeah, I love watching you play.
We love watching you play as well, and so do a lot of people, because we got a lot of questions, like we said before we started recording, or I don't remember, maybe while we were recording, but I think we got the most submitted questions for you that we have for any athlete that we've done. So congrats to you. Some of these we've already asked, so we might repeat them just so they get said. But Corbin Slusher says, "Do you have any pregame rituals?"
Pregame rituals. When I'm at home, no, actually when I'm away too, me and my best friend JC Hamlin, I drink a Coke Zero and she drinks a Dr. Pepper, and we're good. I shouldn't be admitting these things.
How do we get y'all an NIL deal? Y'all listening, Coke? Dr. Pepper?
No,
what's up?
This is the most, like...
Do y'all, like, cheers with
this
it?
Is perfect.
Like, do we just cheers and then...
when we're home, I'll text her right before I leave, and I'll, like, "You want Sonic?" And so I bring Sonic, and...
Yeah, that's very funny.
Yeah.
Coke Zero.
Or we go down to the hotel, like, convenience store and, get a drink.
Where are they off to? Oh, I see.
All right, Texas Tech operations. Make sure wherever y'all stay all season has Coke Zero and Dr. Pepper in the hotel.
We're gonna get
We can't have any issues here, y'all. Have it in the locker room. I love that. I have a follow up to that. We talked a little bit about the mental side and your pregame routine hitting wise. One of my favorite things about you is you're like talking to yourself as you're swinging. You don't have to say what, but like, when did that start? You don't have to give away your secrets, but.
I'm so glad you said this so that I can show Coach Snyder, because he's gonna be so proud of me.
Yes,
clip it, Coach.
Yeah. So I think Coach Snyder is huge on, if you're not talking to yourself, you're listening to yourself, and listening to yourself is a bad idea.
Amen, Coach.
Put it on the wall.
So I think that's something that I worked on really hard in the fall, was talking myself into at bats. And so it kind of started last year when I hit a home run in the Big 12 tournament.
Yeah, we talked about that for like 5 minutes straight on our show. I was like, did you see this girl? Just I don't know what you were saying, but dude, like, as you're swinging, words are coming out of your mouth. I've never seen such a thing.
Yeah, and it was, so that's kind of how it started, and it was like,
oh, cool.
Oh, Joe, but that clip of, if you just watch my mouth move, it's saying some choice words. And I was like, man, I'm like watching, I'm like, ugh. I give lessons here at Knoxville in Lubbock, and I had one of the girls, the dads of a girl, be like, "Oh, what are you saying?" And I was like,
that's why I was like, you don't have to tell us, but
let's get this W.
Let's softball.
Yay. I'm having so much fun.
But usually, I mean, actually, it's like a confidence thing, and I'll talk myself through a plan while I'm at the plate, and I've been really working hard on that. So I'm so glad you guys noticed that.
Oh, dude,
we
Shelby
noticed
was
it.
on it.
That at bat last year was like, we were new to covering you guys, but I was like, okay, she's one of my favorite players because of that.
We'll try and go back and find that clip of, we were talking about it for a while. It was like something really special happened here. So it's really cool to hear you were, working on that and that mental game of it. It's cool. I'm glad Coach is gonna be proud of you too.
Everybody watch Riley as she's playing.
That's awesome. All right, let's go back to random questions because we're already doing such a good job. And from our listener, it's Michaela. What inspired you to play softball, and how long have you been playing?
What inspired me? I was like 3 years old. But my dad was like, yeah, I was tiny, and I guess my parents said I had a really good golf swing.
Oh, okay.
And there you go. I was 3 and swinging like the little plastic clubs, and I think they just threw me into t-ball. And then I think when I was like 12, it was almost like, I'm not too bad at this as a 12-year-old.
I'm pretty good.
And then we just got into the right organization, the right people, and
cool.
Just kept going. Yeah.
Cool. This one is from a former teammate, I guess, at Texas Tech. I'm trying to do the math on this if y'all play together, but Miami Thompson says, what has been your favorite memory while playing at Texas Tech?
Oh my gosh, my favorite memory.
Yeah.
There's so many.
I know.
Road trips.
Well, if Miami isn't number one.
Hey, good answer. Good answer.
Got to put it in there.
I think just like being with all the girls all the time is something that's taken so like for granted. And, you know, it's like we love each other like sisters and we fight like sisters. And it's something that, you know, we'll never have something like that ever again. And me and JC were talking, because me and JC are going to go to chiropractic school together. And I'm like, we're gonna have to make friends. We're not just going to have 25 other automatic friends. And
it is a weird adjustment.
It is a weird place to be.
And all 25 of my friends aren't going to be 10 minutes away from me.
Right.
Max.
And have the same exact schedule as me.
Same job, same, meals.
It's just something that's taken so for granted. And like the amount of girls starting with Miami's class all the way to the freshman class this year that I got to come in contact with and like call them best friends is like so cool. And I'll never have anything like that again. So I definitely think that's the best memory.
The people. That's good. I like that.
We know that feeling. Cool. This next question feels
pointed.
Loaded.
Yeah.
But we're here for it because we have interviewed Maddie before and it was awesome. Maddie Correa from Texas Tech Volleyball asked, who is your favorite volleyball player? Blink twice if we need to edit.
Maddie is.
Maddie.
You got to do it at this point. Good answer. Safe answer.
Do you find yourselves like being able to connect with other teams on campus? I've always been so curious about how that happens, and I think we saw the Lady Raiders going to play golf with the golf team.
Yesterday.
Some crossovers. But does that happen pretty organically, just with the way you're moving on campus, or what?
I think so. I met Maddie through Pecan. I think they're from the same area, and so a lot of like mutuals will meet that way. But just being in like eating lunch together and all that kind of stuff, I would say that my freshman year we were close with like all the other freshman classes in sports. But as you get older, people leave, and but it's always fun to have other friends in other sports, and
yeah, it's cool to see the support all over the place because we're like, oh, hey, volleyball. Yeah, it's all right. Really...
Speaking of, we've kind of already asked you this, but it's from another Texas Tech athlete, so we don't want to leave him out to dry, but it's Logan Russo from Texas Tech Soccer says, why Tech? Why'd you end up at Texas Tech?
Why Tech?
Yeah.
I think, so Lubbock is completely different than
just a little bit
where I'm from. It's, it's like not as much to do in like a smaller city, but it's like I don't know, it's such like a family close-knit vibe, and it's you know, instead of go to this massive shopping mall that we don't have, we're gonna all hang at someone's house, and it's just like it provides other opportunities that, you know, you probably wouldn't do if I was home, and it's just cool.
Kind of to branch off of that, if somebody was coming to visit you and they're like, I only have time for dinner, you pick where we're going, where are you going to take them in Lubbock?
Solid question.
McDonald's.
It's just about to be the Texas Tech athlete dining hall.
That's your
the
friend?
only place I get to eat.
I don't know. I'm a pretty good cook.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I'd cook for them.
Okay.
Yeah. What dish would you make?
I don't. Well, when I say I'm a pretty good cook, I think I'm a pretty good cook for myself. I like anything with like Chipotle, where it's like chicken, rice,
like Southwestern
vegetable.
style.
It is, yeah.
Like that, or like kava bowls. I love kava.
Nice.
So nothing crazy.
Yeah.
But I don't know about any Lubbock restaurants, really.
No, I think that's such a better answer. If somebody cooks you a meal, I'm like, say less. I don't get Chipotle. Who? Yeah. What? Amazing.
It's actually so funny because that's what a lot of, when I was more of a like freshman, sophomore, a lot of the older girls would cook dinner for us.
That's awesome.
Or like we'd go over and have dinner. So maybe that's a
Hey.
Yeah.
It's part of that
pick it back up.
That teammate family thing anyway. It's better to go. All right, and this one comes from Ryan Sands, and I know this is one that Sibby's has a very strong opinion on. She talks about it all the time. But what is your favorite uniform combo? We believe that Texas Tech softball has the best uniforms on campus.
They do.
But y'all have some good combos. Yeah, well, we strongly believe this. But what is your favorite combo that y'all throw out there?
I am always just die hard all black. That's just my favorite.
It's a solid look.
It just looks everyone looks
clean.
so good. It makes you look trim. Like, it's my favorite.
Shows off those weight room.
We'll play good.
Love that.
What do y'all like?
All black
That's a
is
solid
one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I think there's been a combo, like the black and red. That always looks pretty good.
When you got the red socks and the red top and the blades, you got to accessorize properly. But all y'all's uniforms just go together. There's not a really bad combo. Yeah. I don't know what it is. I know we're about to change to Adidas, but I hope they don't mess this up.
Oh yeah, same.
Not your problem, Riley, but
you're out. Good luck, girls. Cool. All right. So the next series of questions are going to be questions about your teammates. So think of your roster. Yeah. And so we'll start it off kind of a timely question here. The BYU game. It's going to be cold. Who on the team is going to be head to toe in cold gear? We're talking parkas, hats. Who's it going to be?
Eyes.
Yeah.
Maddie Saban.
Okay.
I relate to her.
Saban.
I'm with you.
Yep. She'll like wear gloves in the dugout, like actual like winter gloves. So
yes,
I would
honestly good.
Love that. Love that.
And then on the flip side of that, who would be the most likely to have like short sleeves on, flip flops, sunscreen? Riley.
I was
like, I'm pretty sure
that's third base
gonna be her
attitude.
Yeah, I'm like. You'll see everyone in sleeves. I'll be the only one not in sleeves.
Okay, cool.
I was thinking that because y'all kind of luckily at least have some experience with this because y'all just played in like unseasonably cold weather in San Marcos a few weeks ago. I was like, I remember seeing the video and I was like, I'm pretty sure Riley is a psychopath because she just doesn't have anything on and it looks cold. Everyone else is like they're ready for the winter, like in Antarctica, and you would never know by the pictures of you. Love this. All right, so which teammate is the hypest in the locker room on game day, and who is the most chill?
The hypest. I think just the McKenna and Demi.
Okay, could see that.
That group is the loud group.
The loud group.
Yeah, they're like the fun group.
That's what I'd be.
And I want to say all of the seniors, I'll put all of us together. All the seniors are pretty chill.
Yeah, y'all are like,
You're
like young pups.
All those kids.
Yeah. Wait till you get here.
They're crazy. They're so fun though.
That reminds me when we interviewed Madison White from soccer. She was, because everyone we talked to was like, yeah, the pregame thing in the locker room is insane. We're throwing water on each other. And we asked Madison about it, and she's like, yeah, it's not for me. I just go sit in the hallway and let them do their thing. Fifth your senior, all right?
That's funny.
That'd be funny if she like went into coach's office and was like, I'm gonna just hang out here with
These
y'all.
children.
Yeah.
That's funny.
All right. Which teammate is most likely to forget their cleats at home?
God. Struggle.
Oh my gosh. Look at their cleats. I feel like Kaylee Wyckoff would.
Yeah,
Not anything against Wiki, but I
too busy.
feel like she would. Yeah.
She's busy doing other stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which of your teammates, if they're not already, is most likely to be famous on TikTok one day?
Kennedy and Rancy have the TikTok constantly flowing, so I think they're bound to be TikTok famous at some point.
Hey, all right, turn up. Are you a social media user? No. That's so interesting. To hear about.
I have
Tell us more.
I use Instagram, Twitter, that kind of stuff, but I don't post a lot.
Yeah.
At all. Definitely not a TikToker.
Yeah.
I'll scroll, but I don't do the all kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so interesting seeing this generation how their relationship with social media and how that has changed since back when me and Shelby were your age, even within that time frame. So it's always interesting.
Instagram was like barely coming out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was awesome. Okay, next question. Which teammate is most likely to be the first one to sing at a karaoke?
McKenna.
Okay, dang, McKenna. Bringing the energy.
This is kind of.
She would just sing. She would just not even for karaoke. She would just be the first one to start yelling.
She doesn't need it to be karaoke. She's
nobody,
like
nobody but me
in the dugout.
Yeah.
She's just breaking down song. I love that.
Yeah.
Every team needs that to keep especially in softball.
It is.
All the games y'all just play. Keep it loose. I like that. Who has the best taste in music? Who are you handing the aux cord, so to speak, if you had the choice?
I think Demi Elder.
Cool.
She always is connected to the speaker before the game, and it's pretty good music.
Nice. That's really important to have in a friend and a teammate.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Who is coming up with the best signs, like y'all's memes? The Rock. We've talked about The Rock a ton on the show. Who's most likely to have a new idea for the team?
A new pet rock.
A new, yeah.
Probably Alana Barraza.
Okay.
Yeah. She's pretty witty and funny.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to know.
If you could do this, and obviously you won't, but you probably will, which coach would you pull a prank on?
Ooh, Roya. 100%.
Why?
Roya.
And how did you say it so fast?
No hesitation.
Me and Roya have a really fun relationship where it's always back and forth. Cool. But I think Roya would take it the worst, but I think Claveman would take it the best.
Ooh, that's important.
So it's depending on which bear I want to poke.
Yeah,
but I'm thinking I'm leaning towards Roya because I think that'd be more fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eye on that. Somebody keep
someone keep a camera
on Riley.
But Snyder, me and him we would conspire it. So we'd all be in.
Feels right.
So
yeah.
Feels right.
It's got to be a team effort with Snyder.
There was some I think it was last year, some type of prank wars going between the coaches that I had heard about. So they're all about that.
I'd be so scared to do that. I'd take it too far and I'd never play again. Yes. They're like, Sibby, my car is in the middle of center field on game day. Don't know how that happened. So we have talked about, and I think I saw this in an interview that y'all posted on your social media. When you're traveling, who is the player, who's the teammate that is keeping the road trips alive? They're, providing the entertainment. Who's the most fun to travel with?
They're all so fun.
They're all of is it truly all of them? Like everybody contributes. Yeah. That's amazing.
They're all because it's they're all so fun, but there's moments on the bus where everyone's asleep and then one or two people wake up and we're just kind of who are we gonna bother next? So it's just kind of and then the bus gets loud and then everyone goes back to sleep.
I'm getting a feeling that Riley is a little bit of
maybe it's Riley. She's like, that's me.
An instigator. Yeah. She's these people seem too peaceful on this bus. I'm gonna wake them up. This is unacceptable.
That's me and Pecan Pecan and Abby are in the very back, but me and her usually don't sleep that much on the bus, and so if it gets a little too quiet, we'll be like, who do we need to bother?
If I'm bored, y'all are waking up and we're doing something. No one's sleeping on my watch.
In the front, McKenna, Demi, and all of them are pretty loud.
Okay.
So, yeah.
They're
all fun though.
Were the seats on the bus, are those assigned, or is it kind of like the first day of class where you
seniority
sit the first? Yeah. What's that like?
It's the seniors are usually in the very back, and then it kind of goes by class because the freshmen have to double up, which sucks, but I had to do that as a freshman. But it's like freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, I think.
Cool.
Just by choice.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Everyone knows.
I asked this question to another interview that we had, so I think I'm going to ask it every single time.
Do it.
Which teammate are you not looking at when you're in the huddle? Maybe coach is a little heated. Maybe y'all need some correction or something. Who are you not looking at when you're getting scolded by coach?
It's either JC Hamlin or Maddie Keel. One of those two. I always feel like Maddie is directly opposite and JC's directly next to me. Okay. So like the side eye sometimes isn't that can't happen. But if I just look up across, that can happen.
That can happen. Yeah, that's fair. Gotta be careful.
That one's safe. Oh, that's awesome.
All right, I have a spinoff question of something in the news recently. But you talked about your Coach Snyder being a bit of a prankster and doing all these different things. We just saw in the news recently that Utah has been taken over by tumbleweeds. I don't know if you've seen this. I feel like y'all sent them before you got there. They're attacking the entire state.
That was us.
That was y'all. I was like, I thought they weren't leaving until Wednesday. Did they already arrive? But everyone always wants to know your reaction to that. Like when that was introduced last year, was that kind of your first like, okay, I'm going to like this staff because this is goofy. I don't understand it really, but let's do it kind of vibes?
Yeah, I think so. Because that's when the staff was new. So he tells you to run and you say how far kind of thing. So he was like, bring a tumbleweed. And we're like, guess we're all bringing a tumbleweed.
Yes, we're going to do
it. But we didn't know what it was for. And then he just kind of like, we brought him out the next day on the field. And then he gave us like explanation as to why. Mm-hmm. And then we kind of used that towards our like team motto that year. And it was just like, that's like a really fun way to go about things instead of being like, this is our team motto. And instead of that, it was just like, it was pretty cool.
This is who we are. Did that carry over this year? Or do y'all have anything new, or is it kind of a similar thing?
I want to say it's pretty similar as to like being all in, being bought into everything. I want to say that's
I think what we've picked up on our side is belonging in the conversation, and we've seen a ton of clips of Coach saying that, so I'm sure it's something that he talks to y'all about a lot. So it's exciting to see y'all's progress so far in the season. And Riley, thank you so much for hanging out with us and letting us get to know you a little bit more. It's so cool to hear your perspective of your career so far. I'm like, wow, this is stuff that I was saying like a couple years ago. And I think it's really cool that you're having this outlook on your time at Texas Tech. And I think one last question before we wrap it up here, but y'all have your games against BYU, and then you're coming home for a couple of games against the University of New Mexico. When people are pulling up, they're coming to watch y'all play. What makes it so exciting to be a part of game day for your home games? What's something that sticks out to you?
I think if you come to watch, something that we've been working on is if you come to watch our games, I don't think by looking at the dugout you'd be able to tell if we were winning or losing. And so it's just we bring the energy, and we're loud, and the back of our dugout is loud, and like it's so fun, and it's such a fun environment. And so our media team has been doing a great job with the in between inning things, and it's just like getting better and better every year. And so it's a great time.
Yeah, it is. And y'all are being recognized for a new field to look at. The paneling is beautiful.
I agree.
Yeah. Riley's like, I designed it. It's awesome. It looks fantastic.
Even the white piping on the top. Like, I don't know who chose, but it's beautiful. It's great. It's
clean.
Great.
That was
clean.
Props to Coach Snyder.
It's clean.
Okay. Makes sense. Dad, great job.
Yep.
But yes, thank you again, Riley, for hanging out with us, and for those listening, again, catch this team, catch Riley. The vibes, everything that she said, I can confirm. We can confirm.
No
it
smoke.
is true.
No smoke.
No smoke. It's so accurate. March 12th, and that's a Tuesday, doubleheader. Hopefully, the first time that they can catch y'all. But yeah,
and then then there's a really fun series after that. If you want to get the next one there,
yeah,
OU coming to town thereafter. I'm sure it's gonna be a packed house. So get your tickets now for that to get out there. But watch them. This interview should be dropping before their first Big 12 series against BYU this week. So watch them on ESPN Plus Thursday through Saturday for those games, and then all throughout the Big 12 play to watch Riley do what she does along with her teammates. It's gonna be fun. But yeah, thanks for coming on here, Riley. And we always like to finish every interview with just a classical Wreck 'em. So Wreck 'em.
Wreck 'em.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.